Hello, guys. So, I had woken up and, I'm extremely grateful for, you know, not only waking up but receiving this day. It's been a crazy past couple of days, it seems like, but I think it's even more crazy when you pay attention to it. Um, I wanted to get on here and say something. I almost forgot what it was. Well, I forgot the main piece of the conversation. You ever just wake up one day and you got it on your mind what you want to talk about, what you want to do, and then you lose it just like that. As soon as you just get the process and starting the video, then it just leaves your mind. I feel so stuck. Of course, this would happen to me on a day like this. That. So, I've been really putting myself in a position where I'm trying to get ahead financially. And, I have been extremely hard on myself recently when it comes to being behind or being, you know, picking and choosing who and what I want to pay first, what's priority, what's not priority. And it's like, I need to slow down. I need to communicate and I need to meditate on what my situation is. You know, it takes a lot out of me nowadays to give. Because I used to be, before I was in this position, I used to be a giver. I still do to this very day. I give, but it's not like I used to. It's like, somebody needs something, usually financially. I would be well off to have it and not give it. Then, I hit a rough patch and I got into a bad place and I wasn't able to give as much as I was. Only thing I can really do at this point was to be present or to give very little and in hopes that it'll do something for whoever that's in need. I had to be in a humble position, and I think that's what this is all about. Sometimes the strong ones, the people who not only provide for themselves but are just there for themselves, they do everything by themselves. Not saying that they're ungrateful for the people that they have in their life. It's just that they get caught up in independence that they forget that they have people that are willing to go to bat for them. And I tell you, I had to learn the hard way because still to this day I still have tics, I still have stresses, I still have issues that put me in a position where I really hate this. I hate this feeling, still do. I have a lot of healing and I have a lot of letting go to do, and I acknowledge that. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are the same way, and they have to understand and realize that, are you not worth helping? If not, why? This over independence thing, it could come from childhood trauma. I'm not denying that. And then sometimes, you get so addicted to becoming independent that that's all that's all you want. That's what creates abundance for you. I prayed for abundance, I'd say a year or so ago, now 2 years ago. About to be 2 years ago. The following year, I ended up losing my job and I ended up going through the valley of the shadow of death with all the evil coming out. I've dealt with exposures, people exposing themselves, who they really were in my life. And it put me in a real bad depression. It put me in a real bad place. Yet I still had my family. I still had my friends. And for those of you that are family that are not blood related to you, you can apply it to that as well. Sometimes you don't have blood relatives, but you have family relatives. You have friend relatives. So apply it to your situation. Um, I had to fall back and I had to be humbled. And it was their turn to, kind of assist me like I would do them, And it's like, this is not me bragging, but it's like at one point they would need me more than I needed them. At one point, because I would never ask for anything back. Now I'm in this position where I forced myself to ask, because if I don't, then I'm going to be in a badass position. Worse than what I am. And I have been I had to learn what abundance really was. And it's not just receiving money. Sometimes it's receiving love and help of those who you've helped. And I had to recognize that, and I had to be at peace with it. I'm still making peace with it because of certain different types of situations that has pushed me to be at that point as well. It's like, when I have a new situation, then it starts over for me. This is not normal for me. So I have PTSD of all of this, and most of it has a lot to do with my finances. And I tell you something else, a lot of times, especially as women, not saying that men don't go through this. Let's just say the energy itself. We tend, when we're independent, we tend to go through this punishing self-sabotage phase in our mind and our mental. And a lot of times we'll go back in time a bit and we'll be like, oh, this happened back then, and it puts us in a deeper depression. That's us punishing ourselves because we're not doing what we used to. We're not doing what we're supposed to do, or we're not being independent like we used to. And it's like, wow, I had to stop myself, and I had to put myself in a place where I was like, hey, you can't keep punishing yourself for being in a position that was not totally your fault. Not only was it the job, it was also losing friends. It was also getting COVID and unable to do for yourself like you're used to. I tell you, when I had that week of COVID and I'm, here alone by myself, there were certain days where I just couldn't even gather the strength to take a shower. I couldn't even cook for myself sometimes, or sometimes I couldn't even get up to go to my own bedroom. I had to camp out living room because I did not have the air. I did not have the strength or anything. And then I bounced back, but I still had a bad cough. But I wasn't feverish. I didn't have any other symptoms. It's just everything else was hoarse. And I think it took a minute. Every now and again, I'm in my car or I'm in the shower, and I like to, go ahead. I like to blow. I like to sing. And I noticed that I couldn't hit a certain note that I usually hit. And it's like, that really got me. It's like, is this going to be like this forever? Because it was weeks. It was weeks of that. And then finally getting on a good page with this job, but I'm still having to get caught up. I'm still having to ask for help. I'm still in this position where I'm still having to be in a better place, or still wishing, having wishful thinking. And there's times where like I feel doubtful, and that falls under the self-punishment thing, because it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong, this and that. I shouldn't be trying to have a love life, shouldn't be trying to have a life because I don't have everything together. I mean, at one point, everything was together. Even in this position that I'm in, I'm getting paid better. I'm at a better place. I have better coworkers. I'm still, having to pay for last year's BS. And, those are just examples I'm trying to give somebody. But, when you go through certain trials and tribulations, and it's going to take you a year to rebuild, a year to heal, take you some time. And it's like, then on top of that, I had to go through some physical changes as well. Going from a desk job to a factory job, you can't expect somebody to be okay, because, their body's not used to a certain thing, unless you're the type that exercises every day. Me, I don't exercise every day. However, I have a very physical job, so that's my exercise. Yes, indeed. All 8 hours working on this body. Yes, ma'am. But I had to really realize that sometimes abundance is not just in coins. Sometimes abundance is in love and support. And I want somebody, whomever needs to hear this, to understand. I was only giving my personal experience, one major one, personal experience as an example, you know. But some of you, I finally got him. Some of you may have a different experience, but just remember, sometimes abundance is in love and support from other people. Sometimes it's not what you know, and sometimes it's not what you have. Sometimes it's who you know and who you have. And I tell you, I thank God every day, and this channel is not for, religious people, so don't get your panties in a bunch. I'll say, I thank the Most High for putting me in these positions, because I can see better, I can know better, I can feel better. And I tell you, I am a lot better off than I was 5-6 years ago, even when I was stable, because I feel secure in the connections that I have with the people that love me and that I love. And my circle, even though it has shrunk a bit, I know it's stronger. It is amazing what time and what faith can do. But like I said, people just understand that sometimes abundance is not in money, and it is not in material things. Sometimes it is in people that love and support you. I hope this message reaches somebody, and if it doesn't reach you, and you may know somebody that it reaches, just share it to them, and just let them know, like, hey, it's okay. I'm going to post this on all of my platforms that I do have. I am also looking for other platforms, so if anybody has any suggestions, please leave it in the comments, or private message, DM me, whatever. I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all I have. Just a genuine message. But anyway, I love you, my babies. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And be safe out there. Please be safe.